Namaskar and good morning to all of you. So today is Wednesday, and today we are going to look into the sixth enemy of human beings and human beings who want to climb on the ladder of spirituality. Okay, so these are enemies for those people. And the last one is called Matsarya. And if you are not familiar with the Sanskrit word, let me spell it for you in English. Matsarya. Matsarya. But if you know Hindi or Sanskrit, you know how it's written. Matsarya. And general translation of this term is jealousy. But there are three terms in Sanskrit for jealousy based upon the intensity. The milder form is called Irsha. Irshya. Irsha. The second one is called, the little more intense than Irsha, is Asuya. Asuya. And the most intense is Matsarya. So Irsha, Asuya, Matsarya. Okay. See, in English we just have a jealousy word for it, but in Sanskrit we have different names for it. Irsha refers to the common, relatively mild form of jealousy that people feel day by day when they perceive that someone else is surpassing them, sometimes unfairly or sometimes even fairly. And in matters such as looks, popularity, fame, wealth, happiness, and sometimes even in spiritual advancement. Sometimes we think that why other person is more advanced than we are. The other person can sit in meditation for hours and we can't. There could be irsha. Interestingly enough, it is irsha which helps sustain movement in the average person's life. If there were no jealousy, many people would wake up lazily and decide to stay in bed all day. Jealousy makes them get up fast and work harder. So this form of jealousy, this mild form of jealousy, plays some positive role in life. Because this form of a jealousy makes you move forward and make some self-effort. My sister is doing it, my brother is doing it, my friends are doing it. Why can't I do it? You work hard. It motivates you. However, Irsha itself is a Rajasic sentiment. Okay? Rajasic. It's not Sattvic. It's Rajasic. It is a product of a distracted and restless mind. So that means there is some churning happened in the mind which made you do that in the outer field. That's why it must be sublimated on the way to real progress and prosperity. So in the worldly matters, it may be useful, but to really advance on this ladder of spirituality, it can become a hurdle. But when Irsha becomes increasingly tamasic or impure, it assumes the form of Asuya and then Matsarya. When seeing another person happier or more successful, it causes your heart to burn. That means that jealousy has become more tamasic. So instead of you working hard, you just become very uncomfortable with them. That's tamasic. It has assumed a form of perversion, gross form. That's called asuya. And this form of jealousy is accompanied by an urge to degrade the other person. That means behind their back, instead of talking good about them, you will start talking bad. Gossip is often because of asuya, urge to degrade the other person, to pursue his defects rather than looking at the positive elements in that person. You try to see what's negative in there and make it a big thing out of it. Because this really soothes your own mind. So backbiting and scandal mongering are often associated with asuya. And Matsarya, it's still more destructive and perverse. Not only do you feel a burning sensation in your heart, but you start seriously planning what to do in order to hurt the person towards whom you are jealous. So there's a planning involved. Obsessed with the idea that that person's very existence has become a source of misery or even a threat to your life. You become intensely involved in destroying, hurting, and removing the person from your way. So you can see this jealousy is associated with many negative traits of personality. It directs a person to be fraudulent and insincere with those around him, and also promotes irritability, anger, hatred, cruelty, and pride. It degrades the mind. How? By obstructing the feeling of cosmic love. So there's a big obstruction. That's why it's called the enemy. Even though cosmic love is there everywhere, if God is everywhere and God's nature is love, so love is everywhere. But you are obstructing that love with this negative trait. It's like a mental fever. It saps out the energy and vitality of a person. If you study the history of human beings from ancient times, you will see how the tamasic form of jealousy has caused great devastation. Such jealousy destroys harmony among family members, friends, and neighbors, co workers, nations, and even the aspirants in the ashram. Jealousy is a great enemy of culture and progress among human beings. It's that big of a enemy. It has ruined many homes, frustrated many hopes, and broken many hearts. One of the most poignant examples of devastating and far-reaching effects of jealousy. We saw it in Ramayana. The jealousy of Queen Kaikeyi. A coronation turned into a banishment. Ayodhya was singing the joyous songs. Thousands and thousands of citizens, their joy turned into sorrowful lamentations. And the close-knit royal family was torn apart, leading to the pathetic death of the distraught king Dashrath himself. The root cause was jealousy. While striving to overcome the negative within yourself, do not become bitter about the negativity that abounds in others. Those negative qualities are there to urge you to become saintly, to foster and strengthen positive qualities. So that means if somebody else is jealous, that doesn't mean that you got to copy that. If somebody is sick, what do? We protect ourselves. We don't say that if other person is sick, let me become sick. Cultivate positive qualities in yourself. So people who are afflicted with jealousy and hate, and who without any reason put obstacles on your path, the saints say that they are important aids in your spiritual evolution. Just like thorns on the rose plant. There's a reason for the thorns, for the roses to bloom. So possessing this understanding should not prevent you from doing everything possible to avoid being harmed by others. But when you cannot avoid such harm, understand that it has a purpose and endure it. And what happens is this kind of endurance becomes an austerity on the spiritual path. Okay, so our jealousy, we got to eradicate. Others' jealousy towards us, we got to be watchful and take it in a positive way. How do we remove jealousy from our own mind? It's necessary to understand the root cause of jealousy in order to eradicate it. Because jealousy is a complex mental process that arises in a mind that has been degraded due to wastage of willpower. See, willpower is our Shakti. That's our personal power. And we are using it towards being jealous of somebody else. So that's why I said it's a very complex mental process. It's almost like if you have started a garden and there are weeds over there, you keep putting on the fertilizer. And if you don't take the weeds out, weeds are growing, flourishing. So that same thing over here, this jealousy, the feeling of jealousy also. So you are diminishing the willpower which could be used for the progress. At the surface, you think that external objects or persons are responsible for arousing jealousy in your heart. Sometimes we think it's because of that person, because of that situation, I got jealous. But it is not so. It's not because of others' progress. It's not because of the lack of objects in your life. You are afflicted with jealousy because you are dissatisfied with yourself. And you are not living a life of profundity and enrichment. A person who is enriched will not be jealous of another person. This is like an inner unrest which renders your mind, it just creates a disturbance, and it is a psychological disease. So jealousy is one of the psychological disease. And chronic jealousy cannot be overcome by mere words or mere theoretical understanding, because it's a persistent opponent. The predicament of a jealous mind is similar to what happens when you put a little water in boiling milk. See, when you have on the stove a pot, milk is there and it's boiling. What do? You sprinkle a little bit cold water on it. Milk will settle down. But as soon as you turn your back, the boiling will start again. The same way, every now and then, your jealous mind calms down and you think, what's the harm? Let those people I resent exist, happy and prosperous. But before you know, jealousy comes bubbling up again. So that's why I said that jealousy, which is very persistent, we got to get it out of our mind with the same force. We cannot be casual about it. Most of the cases, jealousy is based completely on illusion. What you think to be true of another person's situation is usually just not true. When you become jealous of somebody else, you are involving your mind in a process of imagination. That's why I said it's an illusion. You're imagining. And you're not confronting the reality. You're just making a big picture in your own mind and you're hurting yourself. You're hurting your own progress. The idea that other people are so happy and that you are miserable is wrong. Everyone is placed in this relative world. In this divine creation, everyone who is not enlightened suffers from internal sorrow and restlessness. See, enlightened person does not, but majority of the people are not enlightened. Handful of people are enlightened. They don't suffer from this because people live in this relative world. They have not done enough sadhana to rise above this Maya. They are still under the clutches of this Maya. That's why I said it is illusion. Everyone has his own problems and shortcomings. If you really knew the actual conditions of the people around you, you would develop a sense of sympathy and goodwill towards them rather than jealousy. So jealousy is outcome of that illusion. It's not that we wish bad, but this is what the condition is. And we are never jealous of the enlightened person. We look up to those enlightened people because we are drawn towards them and we want to be like them. There can never be a jealousy towards avatars. There could never be a jealousy towards a guru. Jealousy is always for other people. So we have to have a sympathy instead of jealousy. So to overcome jealousy, try to adopt a more advanced philosophical perspective. Okay? Begin to see yourself as a cosmic being, not just as an individual, and all personalities as manifestations of the same self. So, in other words, see the unity in this diversity. Learn to see every human being as you would see your child or another near and dear relative. As such, they are all deserving of great joy. The happiness of all beings is your happiness. This whole world is your family, your own limbs, your own self. This is the philosophical perspective of the Vedic teachings. There is a vast treasury of bliss, and your inner self enjoys that bliss. There's an abundance for it. There's no lack of it. It's not just a limited bliss. It's unlimited. It's infinite. And it just keep on pouring on us. This is what we have to believe. And when we feel that we are all part of the same whole, then you won't be jealous. Just like your nose will never be jealous of your eyes. Each part of the body performs its function in relation to the organic unity of the whole. The same way every person is related to the organic whole of the universe. And we all have a unique karmic role to play in this universe. We all have our part. Just like in this body, every part has its own part to play. Eyes cannot do what nose does. Hands cannot do what feet are doing. We all got our own part. The same way in this outer world also. There's a divine plan. And nobody can come in your way. Because jealousy often comes that somebody else is creating the obstruction. In this divine play, nobody can come in your way. See, if we look up on the sky at night, as an untrained observer, it looks like there's a cluster of stars. And it seems like they're going to come in each other's way. Sometimes the stars seem so close to each other. We think they're going to bump into each other. But a person who knows this, like an astronomer, knows that each star is so many light years away from the other. They can never collide. In the same way, when you see a person threatening your progress, you must realize he is not in your way. No one can obstruct you. You are as free and separate as the distant stars. You are basically the spirit, and your freedom is endless. So then there's no room for jealousy. When we understand this truth, this philosophical truth, you are shaping your destiny according to your own thoughts and actions. And nobody is considered an impediment in your path. So instead of weakening your will by sustaining the fumes of jealousy, in your heart, you should try to promote self-effort, your willpower, so Shakti, to better your circumstances. You must realize that it's not other individuals, but your own karma that governs your movement in life. If your karmic process entitles you to security, then even a calamity or such a awful situation, your heart will remain untouched from it, unaffected by it. So there could be devastation outside, but internally you can still feel calm. On the other hand, if karma is not favorable, then even in the best situation or under the most favorable circumstances, you will slip on a banana peel and break your leg. So any situation which invokes jealousy in you has come about on the basis of a karmic process. So you must endure that situation with a full understanding right now, while at the same time continue to affirm the goodness within yourself. So in other words, keep the whole picture in your mind and keep on moving forward. By maintaining jealousy towards any person, you are karmically drawing that person to yourself. When you're jealous, you are constantly thinking of a certain person, linking your karmic process with that person's karmic process. So, in the course of repeated embodiments, one day you will draw that person to yourself as a closer relative, perhaps as a brother, sister, child, or any other dear relative. And at that time, nature will compel you to love that person, because close relative, we end up loving more. But internally, there are still frustration inside you. So there's not that kind of a closeness, but outer closeness you will feel, but not the inner closeness. And again, there is a little rift. So that's why the rishis, they say, try to seek out the self in the person towards whom you become jealous. To reach out to and serve the higher aspect of that person. In other words, if you feel jealous towards a person, serve that person and you will nullify any effect. Serve that person, wholeheartedly serve that person. Do not try to pull his legs or suppress him. When you try to suppress a person towards whom you are jealous, you degrade both yourself and the other person towards whom you are jealous. But by serving that person, you raise your nobler sentiments and eventually realize that you had no reason to be jealous at all. You're all one. Because by serving somebody, we get closer to our inner self. Develop a spirit of charity to overcome jealousy. When you see a person more prosperous than you, feel delighted. It's almost like the person is your brother or a sister or a dear friend. You are never jealous of the prosperity of your friend, dear friend, or your brother or a sister. So, in the light of a yogic philosophy, all beings are linked to the universal ocean of life. All human beings are children of the divine self. By developing a joyousness towards the prosperity of others, which is called Maitri in Sanskrit. You remember those four terms? Maitri, Karuna, Mudita, Upeksha. Maitri. Be happy in the happiness of others. So by developing joyousness towards the prosperity of others, you will be able to deck your personality with the flowers of divine virtues. This is the outcome of that. When you hear of the great achievements made by others, do not allow a burning sensation in your heart. Stop yourself right there. Rather, become aware of the fact that other person must have done something great, some good karmas from the past, and some great self-effort right now. Why should you frown at their greatness? Why should you look for their defects and talk about them? Because the minute we talk about somebody's defects, we are creating the seed of jealousy inside us. And before we know, it is a big tree of negativity in us. So pluck it out, throw it away, roast it, burn it. Do not get attached to it. On the other hand, look for positive qualities in others and try to emulate them. Because we can always look at positive or negative. In a rose bush, we can concentrate on the roses or we can concentrate on the thorns. Okay? You are endowed with limitless possibilities. Try to direct your mind towards the unfoldment of your own latent talents and towards the enrichment of your personality. Become so busy. I mean, there is so much to do with our own personality. Why waste time thinking about somebody else? If we can emulate some good person, draw strength from it, sure, look at the other person, but not the defects of other person. Yudhishthir and Duryodhan, cousins, their guru asked them both, by tomorrow morning, tell me who is greater than you and who is worse than you. In the morning, next morning, Duryodhan said, I could not find anybody greater than me. I am the greatest. That was Duryodhan. And Yudhishthir said, I did not find anybody worse than me. So it's up to us whether we want to look at the defects or the goodness in others. When we see goodness in others, there won't be jealousy. We will try to emulate them. But whenever we see the defects in them, that means there's a jealousy. So if you eradicate jealousy from your heart, you will experience immense freedom. This is the outcome. You will feel very powerful in life. You will be an embodiment of love and compassion. And all your activities will promote peace and harmony in the world. You will see that peace is emanating from that personality where there's no jealousy. Jealous person's face looks disturbed also because whatever is in the mind, it shows in the personality. You will see it in the skin, you will see it in the body, you will see it in the words, you'll see it in the actions also. It is that kind of an enemy, and we got to be aware of that. So that's why strive to overcome your ego and develop this openness of your heart. We should definitely be inspired by people who are successful. Try to follow their example. It's not that we should not learn from these people. We should definitely try to emulate, but try to follow their example instead of a jealousy. Develop or live zealously. That means develop a zeal to evolve, zeal to become a saintly personality, zeal to attain enlightenment, because that is our goal in life. We have come here only for that purpose. But along the way, we have forgotten that that is our goal. Everything else has become very important to us, but that goal of our life. So zeal to become a saintly personality, zeal to attain enlightenment. And what will happen is when all the negative qualities they disappear forever, then we are definitely enlightened. We don't have to leave this earth to attain this enlightenment. When Buddha, he attained this enlightenment, many years he lived after that, spreading this message that you all can become Buddha. That's why we are not jealous of him. We learn from his personality. We learn from our gurus. We learn from the avatars. And we all have, and it's another thing, remember, there's no competition on this path. In the worldly achievements, sure, there could be a competition. There can be maybe one president of a country, or one president of a corporation, one CFO, one that officer or this officer. But on this path, we all have the chance to become enlightened. All of us can. There's no jealousy at all. There's no competition between us. That's why even when we do yoga also, the Hatha yoga, there's no competition. You work with your body, I work with mine. You work with your lungs, I work with my lungs. You work with your mind, I work with my mind. No competition at all, but we'll get enhanced by looking at the progress of the other person. Because we see that, yeah, I can emulate, but not jealousy. So that's why I want you to remember this jealousy thing is very subtle. Very subtle, but it's a very big enemy. So we got to subtler the enemy, the more effort we have to make to get rid of this enemy. Otherwise, progress won't happen. We will keep on losing our inner energy in these jealous thoughts. Okay, so any question, comment? So if you want to add something to it, let me know. And I'm sure you guys are not jealous of each other, at least. Okay, but this is also we need to think about. Okay, so I think Jyoti is not there. She wanted some time today to go over uh, screen share, but she doesn't. Do we have a Rita over there, Rita Chawla? I don't see her. Okay, Manny, are you there? Is everybody sleeping today or what? Okay, Jyoti, you're back. So if you want to share the screen,
yes.
And then meanwhile, if Rita is not there,
Sorry,
Then
I had to
Danny
leave
is
for a
not
few
there,
minutes.
and I think maybe I'll have to ask Urmil to sing.
No, Rita is there.
Or Rita is there? Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So, Jyoti, why don't you go over that screen sharing?
Right. Okay, here. So we added the bar here on the top. It says workshops and events. So if you click on the workshop events, our next event is Ram Navami. So if everybody can RSVP here, so we get a head count of how many people are coming.
I don't see anything on the screen, by the way. Do you guys see it? Yeah, Jyoti, we are not seeing anything.
Okay. How about now?
No.
Share.
And then Poonam is saying we cannot unmute because she was trying to say something. So, yeah, please unmute everybody.
Hold on 1 second.
Yeah,
Sorry.
because people wanted to ask questions, they cannot ask
I
questions.
am so sorry. Here, now I've got it done. And here we'll start screen share.
Unmute now, but I cannot see anything.
Okay.
Okay, we got unmuted.
Yeah, you got unmuted, but Jyoti, we still cannot see anything on the
Can't
screen.
see anything.
You can't see the screen
Yeah,
share?
let people ask questions. You can work on it then.
Yeah, we
Oh,
got
now we
Now
see
we
it.
see it.
If everybody unmutes at one time, then there's going to be lagging in the conversations. So now can you see it?
Yes, now we can see it.
So this is Ram Navami, our first event. So if everybody can RSVP here. And also a reminder, May 1st, our Yog Sutra workshop. Again, this is a place to RSVP. Okay. And here's our walkathon. So walkathon, I'll do this so you can see RSVP. RSVP again. So here you've got ticket. I'm going to pay for one.
If I cannot walk, can I just buy a ticket?
Yeah, definitely. Good question, Neetu. Yeah, if you cannot walk, you can still come.
Okay.
And then we'll just chat sitting on the grounds
Yeah.
of the ashram. And then you just have a tea with us
Okay.
and snacks with us, and they have a t-shirt.
As I continue this,
Yeah, there are some people who cannot walk, yes.
Then this is the last place. This is very important. If you want a t-shirt to your size, mark the size that you want and continue. And then these t-shirts will be, bagged separately just for you. So when you're there, nobody's fumbling for a size or anything.
Okay.
Okay, so
everybody got it. So now if anybody wants to ask questions or have your own input
Hershey,
into
I
this
wanted
topic.
to tell you about all these negative thoughts in myself. I only can see when I got the awareness. Every time this awareness, first it was not clear what is going on. Why am I having all these negative thoughts, like,
yeah.
But then slowly I am now at the place I realize this is from the ego side of me. It's like from the well as the purity goes in meditation. I think meditation has been the biggest issue in my life. So it's like osmosis happens.
Yeah, definitely. It's almost like I always give the example. If you enter into a room which has been closed for some time, when you go in there, sure, on the surface it looks clean, but when you start cleaning it, dust will rise up.
Yeah.
Because dust is there.
Yeah.
The same thing happens. We might think that, oh no, we are all good.
Yeah.
Peaceful, hunky-dory. But when you start going deeper inside, just like you mentioned meditation, the dust comes up, and then it's our duty to get rid of it. And that's why we talk about all these negative emotions we have put in there. We got to throw them out.
Okay? Yeah, so that's what I feel every time I feel like that's why I started first. It was so hard to see that. It's like you think you are such a nice person, but
Yes,
when I
definitely.
started meditating slowly, now I'm at a place when I feel like when I talk so much about it because I have found so much help and calmness to deal with all the situation in life.
Yes.
I feel like I cannot do without it. I mean, like, and every
Yeah.
time you go, you create little chipping that part of your ego space, and
Yeah.
then that space is taken by the power of God or energy of purity. That's all.
Exactly.
Feel,
Exactly.
feel
You are.
that's what has
Yeah.
become like my go-to method of definitely cannot do that without sitting in that quiet. It's like cleaning myself and
Yeah.
something like that. But awareness is where you realize that I'm jealous. Otherwise you don't even know you are jealous, you are hating, then you're feeling this kind of animosity for things.
Yeah.
I mean, disapproval. Every way I looked at myself, I was aware like everything is disapproval. There is not complete, like we talk about approval and acceptance. And so that's what I wanted to just share with you that
Yeah. No,
without
thank you. Thank you, Neetu. Thank you very much.
awareness,
Yes. I'm
yeah.
sure it's useful to everybody. Nanda, you have a question?
I just wanted to say, that that's what a guru is for as well. What she was saying, when you're stuck in everyday life, to have, I mean, for me to have you to talk about what's going on in my life at every single point has been a transformational process. And
Yeah.
I think that's the importance of having someone like you being a guru for me has has helped me to transform. And I really, really enjoyed this class today. Thank you so much.
Okay.
And I
Thank
love you.
Nanda. I love you too, Nanda. Yes, it's definitely a process. It's not one day event. It's just like we have put these negative thoughts in us for countless lifetimes. So we cannot expect a right away turn around. It will take some time, and we should be patient with that. Okay, that's why they
I
say
think, I'm sorry.
patience is a virtue. Yes,
I was
Rhonda.
gonna, I was gonna say too that, as life progresses, there's always going to be things that we stumble upon, and to have your support to me has been, a blessing. So I just want to say that thank you.
Okay, all right, appreciate it. Who else has a question, Jyoti?
I think Poonam. Poonam, did you have a question?
No, I think a lot of people were raising their hands and nobody could unmute. So I was just
Oh, okay.
trying
So
to
I
let
have
say
a
that
question.
please unmute. But I do have a question. Hershey,
sure.
you said there is something called chronic jealousy. So
Yes.
how does jealousy become chronic? That was my question.
Yeah, because when you just, how does a disease become chronic?
What I meant is it related to that one particular person or one incident? That is what we are talking about
It
chronic,
could
or
be
is it like your life?
it could be the incident, but it could be your nature.
Your nature. Okay.
Your nature. Nature
12,
just becomes everything
1250.
just negative. Some people just whole world is negative. Whole world is against them. So it just becomes very chronic.
Mm-hmm.
And just like a disease become chronic when we don't take care of it properly, right? So this is also a disease. It's an enemy. Don't take it lightly. Jealousy is bad. Okay. Yes, Pramila.
Give me. Pramila.
Actually, this statement you made, any situation of jealousy is a karmic process. What did you mean by that situation, that sentence?
Okay, that means you are in a relationship because there are karmas involved. Okay, so for example, if somebody is not being successful, doesn't have a good health, there's a reason behind it, right? Your karmas, we have created our destiny. So accepting that helps our mind to get lifted up. Some people, no matter how hard they work in this world, they can never be materially successful. owning that is very important. Okay.
So we just leave it to the karma then?
Yes, right now, yeah, because there is an effect of the old karmas, which is called a prarabdha right now. We got to accept that. But then we are doing the new karmas also. Put more attention there. Okay, it's like a continuous. It's old karmas, the fruits of that, the new karmas we are doing, and we are moving forward. It's not that we should not do anything. It's all because of the old karmas. No, right now we are doing new karmas. Pay more attention to the new karmas. When the effect of the old comes, bear with it. You will have more energy to deal with it. Okay, so that's why I said it's a karma. Born in a certain family, having a certain kind of a body, predominantly healthy or not healthy. Some people, they just do all kinds of wrong things and still they are healthy. Some people, they do all kinds of healthful things, they are still unhealthy. That is the karma. Accepting it is very important. But that doesn't mean we got to say, no, I mean, my karmas are like this, I'm not going to do anything. No, right now our duty is to do the right thing. Okay, so that's what I meant by the karma. Okay, anybody else? Anybody else?
I have a question, Hershey.
Yes, Prem.
Hershey, if you could talk a little bit more on people, you know, like how some people are angry by nature, and some people are more jealous by nature.
Yeah.
So I'm understanding from your talk that it's their karmic
baggage
that came with them.
Yes.
So even if they don't really want to be jealous, but they find themselves to be jealous.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
I see.
But still you can work on it.
Of course.
Right? I mean, it is, that's why I said, do not, when it comes to these enemies, do not look outside that much. These are our internal enemies. We got to work on it ourselves. If I have been jealous all my life, then hey, right now, with a full awareness, I need to remember that this is an enemy on the path of spirituality. It won't let me climb vertically up. I got to get rid of it, whatever it takes. Okay, so that's why I gave you the philosophical insight that remember, this is all one family. Vasudeva Kutumbakam. That's what our Rishi said.
Hershey, there's one more sentence you said that something to do with unsuccessful in my efforts and actions. So jealousy is outcome of that. I didn't quite get that. Could you elaborate a little bit on that?
Again, it's like a karmically. If I am putting all the effort and I'm still unsuccessful.
And that would make me jealous?
Yeah, because the outcome of any action is not 100% in our hands.
Right.
So philosophically, we got to understand that. You remember in Bhagavad Gita, 18th chapter, Lord Krishna said there are 5 factors to it. So when we understand it completely, then there's no jealousy. You just keep on doing 1/5 what you're supposed to do. You try.
So Hershey, what you're saying is that not only I am unsuccessful in my efforts, that makes me unsuccessful, but because I see others become successful with their efforts, so I become jealous of them.
Then you become jealous. Yeah, then you become jealous that, hey, the other person didn't work that hard. I worked very hard. Or a person can say, I look so beautiful. How come I don't get admiration? The other person does. So these are like a small things, but they become a big hurdle on our path.
So the solution is to keep looking within.
Yes.
and saying that I need to work on myself.
Yes.
It's like my own karmic actions and karma, and I just need to keep working on myself.
Exactly. That's why they say this journey is for
To
ourselves.
look within.
Yeah, even though we are all one, but when we look at this journey, it's our journey.
Own journey.
Yes.
Nishtha had a question.
Yes, Nishtha.
So I have two, actually. Good morning, everyone. One is for the website regarding, like the workshops and so on. In order to forward it on to other people, it'll really help, Jyoti, if there's some sort of a descriptive on what the content of the workshop will be. I think it'll just help in order to, if I wanted to send it on to somebody else.
Okay. Yeah, because this workshop which we are doing right now, it's a continuation of the Yog Darshan, the Yog Sutras. So what we can do is we can I can write up something that like which portion we are going to discuss.
Yeah, that just helps.
I think if you click on the RSVP, no, it doesn't have it there. It's switched.
And the other thing, I did have a question also, Harshji, and the question is, apne kafi, you talked about negative emotions, not just jealousy and so on. So how do you, you bring awareness to your negative emotion, but how do you actively change it? How do you change it, or any thought? How do you actively get into your head and change the thought?
Yeah, you got to just like I said, that remember that we are all one. That kind of a feeling. See, our children, no matter how negative they are, mother will always have a love for them. The same thing, oneness, we got to cultivate in our own mind. And this all comes, it just becomes stronger and stronger the more sadhana we do. And sadhana is in the form of prayers also, in the form of meditation also, just like Neetu said, and more so in the form of seva. There shouldn't be, at our stage, the retired people like me, daily seva. But people who are householders still, they have some responsibilities. Weekly seva should be there. Any form, whatever God has given it to us. When we do the seva, the oneness, the feeling of oneness is promoted. See, just like we have a Menka over here, young lady. She just teaches yoga. She became a yoga teacher, even though she's a dentist. But she made an effort to become a certified yoga teacher, and she teaches yoga free of charge. I see that for our ashram children, even when there's only one child, she teaches with the same kind of a love and the feeling of like, this is my student, feeling of mineness. So whichever way we can serve the society, that will bring, that jealousy will go away. Like a teacher will never be jealous of the students. If a teacher is jealous of the students, that's not a teacher. If a mother is jealous of the children, that's not a mother. So we got to, wherever we are, start serving on a regular basis. Whatever God has given, this is like God's gift. So talent to teach, or even a money, or a good physical health, whichever way we can serve, you will see that jealousy goes away. And we all know when we are not jealous, how good we feel. We are really connected with we know who we are, and we are connected with the essence of others also. So these are some of the practical ways, I would say. So keep on studying the scriptures, keep on praying, meditation, and seva. Okay?
Thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else?
Hershey, again, Nishtha wanted that little write-up for workshop. So you can get that. We can put it up.
Yeah. Next, what I'll do is, Jyoti, I'll send you a little write-up of what we are going to study in our next workshop.
Next workshop.
Okay. Yeah. No, thank you, Nishtha, for see, this is a seva, Nishtha, on your part. You want to spread this message to others.
Okay,
So it's
good.
like a little feeling of that. I want others to get the benefit too. Okay, those are, see, sometimes we think the seva is only when we go to the Gurdwara or Mandir and do the dishes. No. There is so much to do in this beautiful family of gods. But we got to make sure that we make a...
You want dosa or paratha?
Jyoti?
Yeah.
So make a service as a very important, essential part of your life. Okay, look within. What is the special gift God gave me? I'm going to give it back with the help of that gift. Don't even call it a volunteer work. Seva. When we use the word seva, it just has a magic in there. Okay, it uplifts us. That's why I always tell you that when I teach, this is a seva to my guru actually. And it connects me with my guru. It just gives me that kind of that purity which I felt in him. I feel that it just erupts inside me. Okay. Yes, Jyoti.
Menka has a question.
Yes, Menka.
I just wanted to say thank you for class. I feel like, you know, we're all on our spiritual path and we're all growing and evolving. So thank you so much. But, you know, just one thing I've learned is we've all harbored these emotions, but once you let go, it really just serves you because you feel good because it just destroys you.
Yes.
Feel these, it just eats away at you.
Yeah. It's a poison. It's a poison. Yeah. We got to get rid of this poison, whatever it takes.
So selfishly, you benefit too because you feel good.
Yes. And but this kind of a selfishness is good. Yeah. It's like, I wouldn't say selfish, it's a self-care.
Yes.
You're caring yourself when you do this self-care. You really help others. It's like if I am wearing the mask, I'm helping myself and I'm helping the others also these days, right? So when I get rid of the toxins out of me, I am helping myself and helping others also. Nobody wants to be in the company of a jealous person.
And you don't know what's going on in their life, you know, it's all Maya. You don't know.
Yeah, always remember, they are dealing with their own ups and downs. Okay, just help them, pray for them, pray for yourself, feel the oneness with the others. Okay, so I see Rita came back. Rita, thank you.
Rita is there.
We were waiting.
Jyoti, I have a question.
Yeah.
Sure.
You know, I was going on the online to register myself and I went to Yoga Sadhana Ashram. Then where I have to go, I don't see anything.
On the top tabs, you see home, about, philosophy, programs. Go all the way to the right. It says workshops and events.
Okay, you know, I don't know. I went to the Yoga Sadhana Ashram. Okay, I went to the workshop. And this is
Ram Navami, Yog Darshan, and Ashram Walkathon.
Okay, Rani, you can look at it. Let's finish the class. And
okay.
Yeah, thank you, Rani. Yeah, just look at it and you can call us afterwards. Okay, Rita.
Hersh,